Hey folks, February 22nd, and spring is not quite here yet, but it's getting close. And despite the fact that we had a 75-degree day yesterday and we're about to have a 20-degree overnight Monday into Tuesday, today is Saturday. Yeah, it's kind of funky with the weather, but we still have propagation to do, because if we don't propagate now, things are not going to go out as timely as they could for better yields on certain things. Peppers are one of those things that if you can start them early enough and protect them, give them that big head start, they like a long growing season to really get as much volume out of them as you can. So yeah, if you can start them now, keep them protected, plant them out in about 2 months, depending on your zone. I'm going to try to target about mid-late April, early May at the most, always watching the 10-15 day forecast to see if anything's going to snap so cold to where it's going to be an issue. I've propagated peppers from seed as late as early May and still gotten production out of them. But I kind of go with an earlier the better mentality. And if something goes terribly awry, it gives me a chance to kind of repair and recover. So today we're going to do some seed starting on bell peppers. It's the YOLO Wonder variety and shishito. I've already propagated and I'm waiting for them to germinate the Aleppo, Fatali, habaneros, and cayennes. And we'll go inside, I'll show you what's going on, and yeah, we'll have some fun. Now, full disclosure, I have a pretty decent understanding, reasonably decent understanding, of how to propagate for success. But my systems aren't necessarily set up for the best success. I don't have a good lighting system, I don't have a good heating system, I don't have a good watering system. I don't have a good system. But I do have enough to get things going well enough. I do propagate outdoors. I do a little bit of covering and heating and protecting and lighting as best I can. It's not ideal, but the one thing I have learned, if I've learned anything, and if it's true, is that when you start things in a relatively unbabied position, if they succeed, they're already kind of hardened off. I've propagated in really, really careful, tight environments, and they don't necessarily like being disturbed. Move something in a babied environment out into the elements, there's some shot going on there. Start something in those compromised elements, they've already experienced it. So when you see my system, understand that it is outdoors, it's not well protected, it's not well heated or watered or lit, but if things grow, they're probably going to do pretty well. So don't mind the mess. This is the table on which I'm going to get things going. This is my potting mix. It's a mix between sifted homemade compost and some leftover ProMix BX. I'm honestly not a huge fan of that material, but I've got it, so I'm going to use it. And we're going to go with a web flat and a cell packs. If I have enough, they're going to be the 12 by 4s. Yeah, so I can get 48 in a tray. So yeah, I was able to find my my cell packs. These are, I think, by greenhouse terms, it's technically called a 1204, 12 by 4. You get 48 cells. And this is a web flat. The dimensions of this are all by about standard 10 by 20 inches, give or take, I think. And yeah, we're going to do one section of YOLO Wonder. These are saved from 2025, and these are shishito, fresh bought for this current year. Sharpie is a good tool for dibbling holes into the potting mix, and also good for writing labels. Best advice I can give is this when it comes to labels. If you have some old plastic like this, cut it up, use it, write on it with a Sharpie, and be prepared to rewrite your labels, because if these get in the sun, they will wind up fading out. You're not going to know what they are. So check your labels on a somewhat regular basis and see if you can still read them. If you can't, rewrite them. This is advice I give freely, and I do not take myself. Maybe this time I will, since I'm committing it to camera. And when it comes to how am I going to do this, I dibble holes. I don't really measure. I go, when I took a few classes on plant propagation, they said try to go 3 times as deep as the size of the seed. I don't try to get that precise. That's probably about a quarter of an inch, maybe at most half an inch. And when I water these things in a bit more, because this mix is a bit dry, it should be a little bit more damp, but it's not. The weight is going to probably depress it a bit to where it will probably be deep enough to keep it protected, shallow enough to where when it breaks germination, it'll still find its way out. You do not want to plant anything too deep. Problem is, it can germinate when that seed coat catches water, absorbs, and starts breaking out. The first thing that happens is you have a radicle. The first root's going to come out, and then you're going to have your cotyledons pushing out north, trying to get out of the potting mix. If they have too far of a way to go before they get out, they'll probably wind up basically suffocating, not being able to get some sunlight, and die off in there. So not so shallow to where it's not stable, not so deep to where it can't find its way out. And I'm going to go one seed per in hopes that I can get somewhere around 80% germination. 80%, if my math is right, and it's probably not, it's probably about 20 of 24, and I think I'm okay with that. I'll be okay with that. And if I'm short one or two, no big deal. If I'm short half, like I said, I'm doing this early enough to where I could go ahead and get another round going in a couple weeks if for some reason it turns out the germination was not good. And yeah, I'll get these things all set to go. We'll drop one seed per. I think I'm just going to close the holes back up as opposed to add more mix and get them watered in and under cover. And my background in pepper growing, it's probably one of my favorite crops to grow. I do enjoy eating them too. I actually had a great time. Last year, I got back into the hot pepper game because I picked up a couple of packs of habanero seeds. I wasn't even looking for habanero. I was looking for cayenne, but the store didn't have them. I saw the habaneros, which I've grown before, and I said, what the hell, let's go ahead and do that. I wanted a hot pepper because the prior year I kind of got out of the hot peppers, but I wanted to get back into them. And it was such a joy to grow them last year. And once I started paying attention to the plants, because they kind of got forgotten, I was paying attention to other pieces of the garden instead. Once I started paying attention to them, I started harvesting, and then I started enjoying them, especially once I started fermenting them. And by the end of the season, oh man, my last harvest, I think I pulled out 30 pounds of habaneros, and I fermented, and they sat on the little table that I had, a little fold-out table that I have in our dining room, which is actually more of a produce room than a dining room. And I actually think they were there for probably 10 or 15 days as I was trying to break them down and get them into the mason jars. I got them all in there. I think there were only a few that wound up rotting, and I had successful ferments across the board. I was really, really enjoying that. I'm still eating those today. So it's been now, months since I've had my first ferment out of the batch from last year, and I've still got another dozen quarts to go. And I put about 6 pounds away in the outdoor freezer because I actually ran out of mason jars. And this year I'm doing a whole heck of a lot more peppers than I did last year. Because, I didn't do enough last year. That's not true at all. I did way too many last year. So I'm doing more this year. Why? I don't know. That's just kind of what I do. One of these days I'm actually going to... But you know what? I'm doing enough variety to where I think I can probably, if I wanted to take some to a farmer's market, put that kind of effort forth, I could. The cool thing about trying to sell peppers, and I don't know this for a fact, I sold a few on Facebook Marketplace last year. I think I listed them for about $10 a pound, day of harvest, and I actually got some takers. Most of them wanted half a pound, and I always threw extra stuff in there. They harvest very clean. I don't know what kind of market is out there for peppers, especially kind of these more, I'd say, slightly exotic varieties. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to want to buy shishitos or aleppos. Habanero's got a bit of a take. Cayenne's got some take. I'm pretty sure bell peppers might get a little bit of a take. But at least they harvest nice and clean versus root crops, which, again, I don't have a wash pack station here. So for me to want to, start getting into the selling game, I'd want to do it with primarily clean, easy managed produce, like a pepper or a cucumber, as opposed to a carrot or a beet or something like that, which I love to grow as well, but selling them might be a little bit more challenging from a packing standpoint. Not sure how many tangents I just went off of and didn't finish a single thought. But either way, we're actually, our seeds are sown now. So I'm going to get these watered in, and then we're going to show you where they're going to live, which is really kind of close to the elements. But hey, I'm a gambler, I guess. Now this dingy looking sheet and section you see before you, yeah, this is how I actually, this is my propagation station. You know, feel free to make jokes about mess lab and things like that. I've heard them before, and yeah, it does look pretty sketchy. Is it successful? You know what? I propagate in here. It seems to work out like pretty well in the absence of having a greenhouse and a great system. You kind of on a low cost, no cost approach. You do what you do, and you know you roll the results you get. That's exactly what I do. So when I peel back this sheet, you're going to see what I've got. We got a shop light running across. We got one heat mat there because I only have one electrical outlet with two plugs. One's going to the light, one's going to that one heat mat. You can see I've got some trays already going there. I've got only one humidity dome. I don't own a second one, so those are going to dry out a bit, and I've got to get those rewatered on a regular basis. The peppers here are going to go there. The first round of peppers are there. What did we put over here? I got labels, so I should be able to see it. Broccoli and endive, and I've got some turnips over there. And yeah, I'm just about out of space here. I could fit one more tray if I get them nice and tightly packed, and I will probably do that. But I don't know yet what I'm going to put in that last spot over there, because there's nothing else I'm really itching to propagate at the moment because of the weather. But yeah, that's the station. Every time I need to water these things, yes, I do have to physically take them outside, hit them with the hose, bring them back in. Like I said, inefficient. But you know what? We'll see if it's effective. I'm not going to say it is, even though I have had success in the past, because, again, when you're kind of playing with systems that are loose, sometimes things don't necessarily go the way you want them to. And this is one reason that I am not going to be a commercial grower anytime soon, because I'm not going to invest in systems that guarantee the level of repeatability that a commercial grower would need. So yeah, that's propagating peppers. That's the sixth, so that's 6 varieties I've got this year, and I think I did 24 or 36 of each of the varieties. Now the bigger question is, let's say I get amazing germination, which I probably won't get amazing, but I will get probably at least enough for one bed for each variety. The question is, do I have the space out there for that? And the answer is, I don't know, because I don't do much in the way of garden planning. I usually start with really great intentions sometime in the winter when things are cold and I'm kind of bored and I'm looking for a project. And I have so many iterations of it over and over, and eventually I just kind of give up, propagate the hell out of everything that I want to propagate, and then I just install it wherever it goes out there. And yeah, in the end I actually get plenty of food, usually from the garden, so something's going right. But would it be a little more comforting to have a little bit more deliberateness? Maybe, but I'm not there yet. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll be happy to answer them. If you're growing peppers this year, what varieties are you doing? And when you do peppers, do you go really big or you do a little more precise? I'm kind of going big. One day I'll probably do a little bit more, tighten up the process a little bit, but right now I'm still glamored by big yields. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. See you next one.